Good afternoon. You guys ready for the long holiday weekend? Market is very thin right now and pretty choppy. All right, I'm ready for the symbols. All right, what are you guys watching? What do you guys have on your watch list for this week? Costco. Costco is always on the list. All right. All right, let's start with Costco. This is my absolute favorite stock long term for the investing side. All right, so we're going to talk both investing and we're going to talk swing trading. And if you guys have a preferred symbol for day trading, you could actually write the symbol in day trading so I know what to look at. All right, so Costco, this is a daily chart, and for some time now, actually for more than 2 weeks, it has been relatively sideways. I do have a position into it for the swing side, and I've initiated the position on the 19th at $740. My stop is just below the pivot low here, so quick disclaimer, I'm in the stock. So what I do see is the potential of further continuation as we're heading into the end of the month and also the end of the quarter. We're going to see probably some activity into Costco relatively soon. This is the stock that has been up. This is the quarterly chart here, and this is the 3-month trading activity. So it has been incredibly bullish. So it has tons of opportunities to the upside as well. From the daily side, big congestion from the pivot low March 11th to the pivot high March 21st. So basically the price action is trying to digest the 750 area, and if the price action should be trading and printing a 750, I have no doubt that the price is going to start rallying again back into the all-time high. It is one of these stocks that has had a tremendous growth through the month, through the first quarter. In fact, you could see here from the first day of January to the high that we had, the all-time high over 20%, and into where it is trading right now over 11%. So definitely a very strong contender for the next quarter. And what I would do is definitely watch this range right here. As long as it's trading above the 50 SMA, and as long as the price action is, and as long as the 50 SMA is literally going to defend the support for this stock, there is a very strong opportunity for the upside. However, there are two elements here that have created some choppiness, and the one indicator is I would say a couple of indicators here. I use the 10 exponential moving average and the 20 symbol moving average, and you guess that this is the 50 and this is the 200. The price action, since it moved to the downside, and definitely this was based on earnings. So when earnings were released, it sent the stock price down just below its 10 EMA, and the 10 EMA is kind of like forcing the price downwards a little bit. But the reality is that the price action is sandwiched between the 50 and the 10 and also into the 20. So as long as the price action is going to gravitate within these moving averages have created the channel for it. And what we need to see is a close well above the 20 SMA. But to start off, a close above the 10 EMA would be a little bit more encouraging, but the let go of the stock for higher is going to be above the 20 simple moving average, which is this blue line right here. I do see a good opportunity as long as the price action is going to remain between 740 and 750, and that's going to be the line in the sand to see if it can sustain that zone. small congestion into that zone and propel definitely higher. Some of the stocks have muted reaction into the end of the quarter and into the end of the month. There's a lot of balancing that is happening, and to say the least, we had earnings towards the end of the quarter and the price actions leaving a huge shadow onto the quarterly chart. But definitely we're seeing it, and I'm seeing it bullish. One of the biggest reasons why I initiated the trade is, for me, it was a weekly trigger into the 740 to 744. It's still respecting the super uptrend off of the 10 exponential moving average. And this has been ongoing since October 30th, and it's defending it really, really well. We do have an indecision candle here at Doji. It triggered the Doji up, and we're still and until the price action violates the risk here into the bottom of this pivot, the trade is still active, and the trade is still going to develop with least management involved. So Costco is a great idea for the upside. I would encourage, if you're not in, to wait to see a close above the 20 simple moving average. All right, so I hope this helped for Costco, and let's take a look at Adobe. Okay, so Adobe daily chart is back into a massive area of support, and this support was signaled since January, like right here of last year. So it did have quite a challenging year last year. It did have a momentum for higher. It had a double top formation and then a lower high and a punch back into the support. Now, as you can note from the daily chart, the price action is trading below the 50 simple moving average. It's trading below the 20 simple moving average. Is trading below the 10 exponential moving average, which can create more of a down move. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so all right. So Adobe has a more bearish kind of connotation right now, but it's still defended by the support zone that was created back here. I wouldn't initiate anything at this point in Adobe. It could potentially be a squeeze, but it's not extended enough from the next resistance in order to do so. So I don't think any kind of action is appropriate onto the daily from my trading plan and my point of view. The same thing that I see here is that, and here you get the price action a little bit more congested. You can see that these lows are creating a lot of resistance for price action, and definitely the price action is sandwiched once again, but I don't like the fact that it's literally putting a lot of effort into going up. So this is actually the second week in which there is literally no price action conclusion on the direction of price action. If the price action should trade below the 200 simple moving average, 476 or 475, there's a strong possibility that the stock will enter a downtrend and may further pull back to the next levels of support of 400, 350, actually back into the 330 or 300 or even below 300. But for the upside, this is going to be the big line in the sand. I would actually wait on this one to have a little bit more information as where it wants to go. The monthly, though, it's even, a little bit more choppier in the sense that the clear signal is going to come right over the 585 and 50 cents or 60 cents or somewhere around. That would be like the 180 rotation that it needs in order to flip from red to green. So it has a lot of hurdles before it gets back into the high. The only way, like if you really insist on trading and if that's your plan to buy it, or if you're already in, make sure that, I would definitely have a hard stop somewhere below 470. And I would just have a lot of patience for the price action to start digesting and start punching through these moving averages and actually see the candlesticks close above those moving averages. Other than that, The technicals are not that great. The stock is not going to get picked up into this week. That is, a certainty because it had a really weak quarter. And into the end of the quarter, especially with window dressing, we should be seeing the effects today and tomorrow. These types of stocks, stocks that have been down for the whole entire quarter, they're just going to be left alone. Or, so you're not going to see volume into them. You're not going to see any kind of buying pressure. You're not going to see any kind of selling pressure if they have been steady. But more so, if they have been really weak, you could even see a little bit more selling activity. So I wouldn't see, I wouldn't say there's, I wouldn't say that there's a high risk of pulling back, but definitely, be mindful that this is what historically is happening into window dressing. So the weakest stocks within the last quarter, within the current quarter, have the tendency to drop even more. So they're not going to be, they're not going to be the ones where institutions, where hedge funds are going to start punching positions. Another stock, Greg ETD. All right, ETD. Now let's take a look at the quarter first. It's coming off of a really rough chop. I love the bottoming tail into it. It shows a lot of buying pressure off of the support here, actually minor support. Excuse me, it's getting a little bit of a lift off here and on the monthly. So here's with the monthly, because we're getting very close to the end of the month, right? We are literally days away. And don't forget, on Thursday, literally, we're going to have the end of the month. Excuse me. Okay. This may get picked up. So the level that I would be looking for is $34 and about 60 cents. And if it takes that out, there's a very strong potential of running into the prior highs, which are from January 2017. So from a long time ago, $38.50. So, oops, sorry about that. All right. And from the daily standpoint, I love the fact that we have a minor support zone has been tested. So it held here for once, and then it had that slingshot low. Now, remember that these types of slingshots typically occur when institutions want to grab more shares, and they drive it. So they forcibly drive the price lower just to grab more. But I definitely see a nice cone completion, and the price can start elevating soon. All right, sorry about that. I'm just coughing a lot and then just muting the mic. I'm coming from a really bad cold that I had. Okay, so we have swing high to swing low here to see some projections into it. So further targets above this $34 high. We could go like 35, 36. So it's pretty much going to go like from dollar to dollar point, and then a much let's say a much wider tradable void. So a core target of about $39. So this would be EDT. Not bad. So I kind of like, this is a good one. All right, the next stock that we're going to take a look at is Netflix. All right, so Netflix is having a little launch pad off of the 10 exponential moving average. Notice how the price action was literally trading off this 10 exponential moving average for literally the longest time ever. And in fact, you could see it here, October 2024 is where it all started. That's when we had the rotation in the market, in pretty much all the tech stocks and in the market in general, in the SPYs and even in the Dow. So we're trading into a really heavy duty resistance here. This resistance has been, and you could see here from this prior pivot high from the beginning of March, the 624, and we're going back and forth, back and forth. I still think that there is a lot of juice for the upside for Netflix. For the weekly standpoint, it could actually start squeezing a little bit more. We're recovering the whole 2022 pullback, and definitely the new trajectory is going to be back into the $700. So super trend, In fact, this is an ultra trend. You can see the nice fanning out of the MAs here. Beautiful move to the upside. So yes, it does have room to go. And I would say like extreme long term. Like I would say like, Warren Buffett time of long term. No, I'm talking about like a couple of months or a few months in Netflix. So Terry, that's really good. MSTR. All right, MSTR, huge move. Tons of volatility came in from beginning of March. It has been one of these stocks that has been popping on my scanner constantly, and it had a pullback. This is kind of like reminds me of SMCI because you posted here as well. So SMCI has a gorgeous setup that I'm going to share with you, Stuart, in just a few moments as well. So it had the pullback. This was the trigger point. It's the 1451. This has the potential to run a lot. First of all, quarter, take a look at the last 3 months of trading activities, trading into literally all-time highs. And if you're wondering where the price action may be going to, and maybe in a rush into running, 2000 is going to be the first target into it. And then if it takes out the 2000 is going to be the next target. And the following target is going to be into the 2200 to 2280. All right, at SMCI, very similar in pattern. Okay, very, very similar in pattern. We're going to start with the weekly here. First of all, weekly, notice that we have this beautiful base breakout. And by the way, guys, when I was scanning like in January, I was kind of like, and it was kind of like the first week or second week of January, and I was scanning, and I was like, yeah, this has the potential to break out. I did not get it. Believe it or not, I'm like, I looked at the price point, like, I shouldn't be getting it. And I said, what? I don't have any indication yet in terms of volume or anything that this is going to be a breakout. But here's the thing. I am the breakout queen. If there's a breakout out there, I have like this skill set of identifying breakouts or breakdowns and literally killing it with bases. But I was the one that didn't take this trade. So anyways, what a tremendous run. It had an incredible rise from January to, talking about performance 300%. And, bottom line is that when you look at these stocks, there are so many trading opportunities. And if you're late in the game, for example, into investing or into building your nest egg, this is how you do it, through swing trading. There's no other way you could do it, because time is not going to work for you right now, especially like if you're in your 50s or in your 60s, or even when you're in your 70s. I mean, why would you invest, right? Not unless you're doing it for generational wealth and you already have, a pretty good nest egg. But if you need that extra income, take a look at the stock. The benchmark for investing is 8% to 10% per year. This literally from January from that breakout to this very high right here, 300%. Let's say you're not going to get 300% because you're not going to get it into this high. Let's say at the sign of the first reversal. So up to here, it's still 240%. Oh my gosh, this is incredible. So if you take that 240%, let me just get a calculator, and divide it by 8, it'll take you 30 years to get this performance, right? 30 years. So you would have to start investing, like if you're, I don't know, if you're in your 50s, you got to start investing into your 20s, right? Or even before that, in order to get here. So this is a great opportunity with swing trading. But definitely I see an opportunity for higher. This is on my hot list, SMCI, for this week. Day trade, swing trade, definitely higher, has huge potential to run back into the 1200 at least in the near future. Weekly chart is very strong. Monthly chart has the bit of selling, yes, because it was up over 300% since the beginning of the year. And yes, we are into the end of the quarter, and there's going to be a lot of profit taking as well. But definitely looking forward into the next quarter, have your eyes on this. This is a great one. And ANF, yes, I was in this stock as well. ANF with a huge potential here with the double bottom formation. This is right here. kind of key of what's going to happen next. I think this is a bit of balancing, which is very normal to happen into stocks because investors are taking partial profits and they're going to be waiting for the next month to be a little bit more active, and they start buying not in the beginning of the month, but they start buying once the earnings season starts, because that is when the volume is going to come back into the market. You probably have noticed that the volume is very low into the market today. It will continue to be like this throughout this week and next week, because this week we literally have, a short trading week, Good Friday right around the corner, and then Monday, Tuesday, European markets are going to be closed, so they're not going to get that much influence into the futures market that can be transferable into the US stock market. But anyways, this is bottom line. This is a lower high. So this is a high, this is a lower high. The double bottom support is still holding. You can still see that, the beautiful 50 SMA has remained intact. But one thing that concerns me that we have been talking about since the beginning of my analysis here is that it's below the 20 SMA. And since it's below the 20 SMA and it's because it's sandwiched between moving averages, once again, the price action is going to go back and forth until it finds, it closes either above the 20 SMA or below the 50 SMA. So if it closes above the 10 EMA, it's going to be bullish, ultra bullish, and I don't think it's going to have any kind of problems into lifting into the prior high and obviously into the all-time high. But I think once it closes below the 50 SMA, there's a huge problem because it may signal more of a sell. And just like just like other stocks that we've talked about in here, including Costco, including everything else, this stock has had a tremendous performance. Tremendous performance since January. So if you look back here, this is January 2nd and into the high. So yeah, there's going to be profit taking, right? So this is January into this high. We have 59%. Yeah, in the back of your mind, always have that 8 to 10%, right? When you're making your money work for you. And now it's trading into the 121, which is still up about over 30%. So still very, very strong. Okay, still strong, still holding on. So I really, keep an eye on it. These are the type of stocks that, you want to keep an eye on. As an entry, no entries as of yet. Okay, no entry. I actually traded ANF, but I have exited. And at the first sign of reversal here, I was out, but definitely this is a watch. Keep a watch on this week. This is this week right here. Let the week close and visit it on Monday. It could potentially be bullish over 135 next week, or watch the daily. Ideally, I would like the daily to have a close above 129.70 or so. But other than that, it looks very good. Stewart wants Google. All right. So Google, I am in Google as well, and I intend on staying a little bit in Google. I like the fact that it's trailing super nicely and it's trading above the 10 EMA. It's getting a little bit extended here. I like the fact that it took out the prior high into the 150, still target into the 155 or so. So it has a really big potential of achieving that target relatively soon. I like the pullback and the doji and up here. This is perfect. It's digesting this prior resistance, and it has a lot of room for the upside. For the second quarter of the year, it could potentially move way, way, way higher. So it can move into the 193, 169 to 193. This is going to be the core target, the swing target into the 161 and 169. So it does look very good for higher. All right, AVGO. All right, AVGO. And then I'm going to address Fred. He's looking for a breakout suggestion for an intraday trade. You have to use the scanner for that, Fred. I don't have my scanner fired up for breakouts. here on this computer. I have it on a different computer because I would have showed you. I use Trade Ideas. I love it. I've been one of the first users of Trade Ideas since I think it was 2000 and, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was 2003 or 2004. I think I was like number 56 or 53 in the company. But definitely, if you want to find those trades, you need to use a scanner. And I have a scanner that is customized. I have customized it. It took me a very long time to customize it to the way I want. And what are my scanning criteria? Oh my God, this is such a great question. And then we're going to get to AVGO. So my scanning criteria for day trades is for the stock to trade at least 1.1 to 1.5 million that day. So it needs to be super high volume. Number two, you can select the price point of your preference. I don't have a price point of my preference. However, I don't like to trade, for example, AVGO breakout, a stock that trades at $1,300. So I like to trade typically stocks that are priced between, let's say, $50 and $300. The third criteria is to be in sync with the market and in sync with the momentum, or to have relative strength or relative weakness compared to the market. So for example, in a market like today, I wanted to my stock to have relative strength and be on its own. So it'll move faster, higher into my target. So these are just a few of my trading criteria. And yes, it has to be in an uptrend in order to take the breakout. I'm not doing any short squeezes on the breakouts when I want to trade them. But I have different setups for my not breakouts that your question was referring to. We could actually look a little bit. So I have, let's say, all right, let's see if we have, but like I said, I don't have the scanner on this one. I use Trade Ideas. You could visit Trade Ideas. I think they actually have a sale on here. They have a sale. And another the criteria, Fred, I like to trade them off the 5-minute and 15-minute charts. Okay, so 5-minute and 15-minute charts. 15 would be my favorite. See, this is not a breakout here. Let's go through the first 5 to try to see. Then this may be like a little baby breakout. You can see here, volume is really good. This is into resistance here, so it's not a great candidate. Let's see here. This is not a breakout. And be very mindful, because if you're looking for breakouts in doldrums, so we are in full throttle doldrum period right here because it's 12:30. You may have some false breakouts, by the way. You may have some really false breakouts. So be very mindful on that. Let's go through 2 or 3 more stocks. This is Reddit. Okay, wow, Reddit, very interesting here. So it's not a breakout. It's in a breakout, you would like to see more like Christmas light effect than anything else. I don't like the swingy side. Rumble. This could be, yeah, this could be not quite a breakout. This was a mini breakout. This doesn't really qualify as a breakout, but you get the idea. You want to have like really massive volume when you're trading, right? You want to have like really massive volume. You don't want to have like thin volume, right? You can see the kind of volume. For example, this is another scanner that I use, but this is for swing trading. Okay, so you can see here that you can see the volume that I'm looking at. So I'm working with 11 million, 22 million, you know, like this is the kind of volume that I'm looking at. So I hope this answered your question. All right, about scanning and scanning criteria. In fact, you know, these 5 and 15-minute breakouts are my favorite strategy, and it's a super simple strategy, very easy to identify, but it has some tricks to it. All right, so Ken, we're gonna go ahead. Yes, Rumble, I agree. FSLY. All right, FSLY. Ooh, this one is not going to get picked up anytime soon. It's not going to get picked up. It's bearish onto the weekly. It's looking like it wants to go further lower to about $11, and if not, back to $7. Once it goes actually below, $10, it kind of loses that institutional interest. Also pay attention, the volume is declining, so there's nothing going to happen here. And rule of thumb, what is the quarterly chart? Because we're at the quarterly end of cycle, red. So what do you think is going to happen into the end of the month? It's going to be left alone, or it's going to die some more. Okay, so my opinion on this one is that it's going to be left alone, but it could be a bearish side as well. So FSLY to the garbage. K, what is that? The next one, KLIC. Okay. Ooh, this is kind of thin. Ooh, this is kind of thin. All right. Choppy, thin, volume going down, flat. So no activities below the 200 SMA. It has literally it's trading under the death cross. So not good, not a good bullish sign. It has been chopping around for a really long time, for about 2 months. Let's take a look at the quarters in an inside candle. The only thing that I see here, watch it for the next quarter, over $57. That's it, 57. And unless it trades over 57, I wouldn't even look at it. I would actually, kind of like see where the price is closing, if it's ever going to close, in the near future. But I would totally skip this one. If it closes above the 200 SMA, just see how it closes, because here it had a close above the 200 SMA and then it got rejected again because it's coiling around the 200 SMA. Institutions are not loving this right now. And they're, and the volume is declining. It's not a good pick. So just skip it. There are some 6,000 other stocks that are really good. PSTG. All right, PSTG, massive breakout. This is the definition of a massive breakout here. You can see that a multi-year resistance, finally breaking out, coming back into the minor support. This is textbook for a launch pad. And right now it's trading beautifully off of the 20 SMA. Let's take a look at the quarterly chart. Beautiful quarter. As you can see, it was noted from the daily chart as well. A little bit of a selling sign right there into the highs. This month, relatively sideways. You can see it here. It's gonna close like in 2 days. So yeah, this is gonna be the shape of the candle going into the next quarter. It's gonna be bullish above the high, and it's gonna be bearish below the low. So it's gonna be bullish above 58.60 or so, and it's gonna be bearish below 48. It can potentially pull back down into 40. But from the daily structure, it has a good risk into the just below $49. And yeah, it could potentially have a buy trigger above $54. So if you want to, if you're looking for a trade for this week, this is not bad. The volume is really bad on this one. So it's not a trade for me. It's not in my trading plan to trade this, to trade with this volume. But it could very well, if it fits your style, keep it in mind that thinner stocks have a higher degree of volatility. So over $54, you could take it with partial size. I wouldn't go full size on this because it's so thin, and look for a continuation higher. It's just going to offer you less than 1 R if you use the risk into the 48.70. And Path, this is a stock that has literally hasn't done anything for a really long time. It's literally dormant. It's not up to anything here. Quarterly chart sideways into a 200 SMA, so clear sign of rejection over there. This is not bad onto the monthly. So this could be bullish over $25.50. With a risk into the minor support of $20. And it could potentially run a little bit higher. It's not something that I would do, but this is sort of like a nice potential breakout. Volume is incredibly thin today, and I don't know. Let me put it this way. I wouldn't trade it. Okay, so I'm very honest, and I'm telling you, Ken, those stocks are kind of like thin and kind of like choppy. I would shift my attention into something that is like a little bit more clear. Okay. Okay. So let's see what else we have. PSTG. I'm not sure I've ever traded this. PSTG. All right. So let's see, probably somebody else might have asked about it. All right, I'm seeing a lot of activity here on the quarterly. So the quarterly has snapped. The monthly chart doji, so definitely bullish above the doji and bearish below. Weekly looking like an inside and out formation. Yeah, weekly could potentially have a trigger $53.40. You could use a stop at the 10 EMA of $48 and look for a continuation into the high. Yeah. All right. Any other stocks that you guys are watching? Anything else? Okay. Type in your choices. Nobody, Amazon, nothing tech stocks. We did Adobe. Something else that we haven't done. IBM, now you're talking. Okay, let's take a look at IBM. CLSK, I just yeah, a very interesting CLSK. It's in play for me. Okay, so IBM, really powerful quarter. Watch it for next quarter because we may get a transition higher. It's trading right into resistance. The fact that it's kind of like basing right now, you can see the base on the weekly is trying to take out the high right here, the prior high that we had in 2013. So it's trying to get there. Okay, so the fact that it's just balancing out here, it shows that it's digesting this prior high, which is around the 205, 206 area. So it should it's consolidating. It's consolidating. It's not doing anything. It doesn't have a buy signal or it doesn't have a sell signal right now. It had a very strong quarter, so it may get picked up in next week. Keep it in mind, next week you're also going to have low volume into the market, so follow through is going to be a little bit more difficult. So you have to go with something that is really in the news. CLSK. This popped on my scanner yesterday as having a massive, see, this is what I talk about volume. This is the kind of volume that you need to have, you know, for follow through. This is a nice range formation. It has super clear support. You guys can see it here, and it has really beautiful resistance over here. So this is a breakout pattern. If I go to the quarterly chart, you can see that it has a nice rounded bottom. It has a little bit of a higher low compared to the prior low from 2020. And it has a really massive short squeeze potential into the $36 to $40. So this is my, in fact, I have in CLSK, I have first targeted into $34, $36, and $40. These are, oops, sorry. These are my targets. The monthly, super strong. Very strong potential that we may get immediate reaction as we're heading into April. And we can see that $30, $34, you know, very strong weekly so far. Now, remember, the week is not yet closed, but yeah, but it looks very good. And I'm actually in it. So snow. All right, snow. Let's take this out. All right. All right, let's see snow here. Okay, let's get the bigger picture. All right, so snow has been, you know, having this core of the range as common denominator. There's one thing, Ken, that is about snow. It's under all the MAs. So that means that it's getting a lot of bearish signals, getting literally hammered to the downside. That's why it got hammered in the first place. It got hammered, technically speaking, it got hammered into this core right here. under the 200 SMA, which institutions don't love. Institutions like, so hedge funds love to see it over the 200 SMA. That's when they're, you know, they go like, oh, okay, this is interesting. But now they go like, oh, this is crap, right? All right. But needless to say, there can still be some opportunities into it. Let's shift to the weekly. There is an indecision candle here that was last week, and we're trading right now between the high and the low. There's a bearish sign, a bearish signal under 151 and change. So if it takes out the doji low, then yeah, it could have a very strong reaction and pull back to the first support level that we had from September 23. And that is into the 139 level. And then it could actually fall apart more. Even the weekly has tons of moving averages ahead. So this is not going to be a good sign. Institutions don't like this. So there's going to be a lot of discussion on whether, you know, it could really start moving. I would just leave it alone until it breaks above those MAs on the weekly, and then I would take a look at it. I wouldn't want to be the one that is testing it. I would like the institutions to test it first, or other retail traders, and then once I see some proof and once I see some signals, I'm going to get in. I'm not going to be the one that is going to test it. AMD, like all the semiconductors, are, you know, very hot right now, and this is the daily chart of AMD. There has been a lot of consolidation around the 50 SMA. In fact, we have been trading here for 6 days already. There's a buy signal, by the way, into 183. But 183 also coincides with the declining 10 EMA. So this is going to be a huge question mark. If you're willing to get in on the first signal from a daily, let's say into the 184 or 185 entry, then I would suggest take it with half the risk or a quarter of the risk, or something where you can actually leg into the next setup that it's forming, because other than that, it's not really that favorable. If it closes strong, you could have another add into next week, or probably Monday or Tuesday. Okay, remember Monday, Tuesday, very low volume in the market. You may be experiencing the same type of price action that you're experiencing today. Okay, so I hope this answered your question. Let's move on to DKNG. All right, I picked up DKNG last week. I was very aggressive into the FOMC meeting, and my entry is $44, and I have a stop of $39.75. I have not raised my stop yet. I had our first target in $46, and we're looking for our group is looking for the next target into $50 and $60. So that is my calculated target for DKNG. You could actually see the entry right here. That is when I called the trade for our stock swing traders, and we're rocking and rolling. We had I would say a massive month, to say the least. Our biggest, most craziest trade that we did was GPS. We closed the trade with, and we made 31.75% in it. Just crazy. Let me just show you real quick here at GPS. All right, this is GPS. Look at this. Crazy. All right. Well, any other stocks that you guys are watching? ACA. All right. Sideways on the daily. First level of support, 76. I like the fact that is, at least this one is above the 200. It's above the trending MAs. So it could have a continuation lower. The volume though, I mean, volume. Okay. Weekly, this is definitely bullish signal over $86. Bullish signal over $86. Had a pretty good quarter. Pretty good quarter. Monthly could be actually be an ad. I don't know why it's not displaying here, but monthly could be an ad. Yeah, so very clear signal here over $86. The risk could be 79 or 79.50. Yeah, very, very nice. MAS. All right, MAS, nice volume, trending nicely weekly. This could be a breakout here. This could definitely be a breakout. Let's take a look at the quarterly. How many of you guys actually look at quarterly charts? They're essential, especially if you're heading into the end of the quarter. Oh my gosh, you can't call yourself a swing trader. You could take you have like massive signals off of these charts, off of these time frames. So beautiful quarterly, and just about to close on Thursday. Could potentially be another ad over this quarter high. Monthly's in a little bit of a limbo, but I do like it because this pullback of the doji is coming into the prior high. So I really like it. So it's not bad. It could be, so this is something to watch for April. It's going to be bullish above 78.80. Very bullish over 78.80. Okay, Caterpillar. Caterpillar had a really strong quarter. This could be bought into the end of the quarter. The weekly chart, a bit of topping tail here, but it's trading right where it closed. So this is a strong sign. Oh, this is nice here because it could potentially do, and it already triggered a little rotation, a 180 reversal here. So not bad. I think it's kind of like, I don't like 2-bar pullbacks. I would have preferred 3-bar pullbacks, but and that's because I like to use a defined risk. But other than that, I don't know. I would suggest, like, if you intend not, so Caterpillar is definitely higher, and I think it's gonna do. I think it's definitely gonna go higher, but I wouldn't use a full risk if you want to get it. But it has a really clear signal. Okay. So 360 looks very good, very appealing for higher. If you want to do it a little bit more on the aggressive side, 359. So 359, or I prefer the 360. Either or, just use half the size or quarter size, and then look to add into next week on a different weekly signal. RMD. Oh, this is a nice example of a breakout. Definitely very low volume today, but this is a nice breakout pattern. I love this. So out of all the stocks that everybody posted here, Stuart, RMD is definitely like the nicest, cleaner pattern. Okay. We have a really nice formation with higher lows here. We actually came out of this golden cross beautifully. This is a golden cross that shifted everything. We had a 4-cell rotation. So very nice here, trending off of the 10 EMA, nice fanning out of the EMAs, trading into resistance. This definitely wanting to break out over 195. Very nice. I like it. And it has room to go. You can see why it's, kind of like stalling here, right? Because take a look at these, this prior pivot here. So this prior pivot is creating the minor resistance currently. But if it digests that, if it breaks out off of the level that I just mentioned, it could go into a target of 202, and then it could go to 203, 204, and then it could squeeze to 207, and then all the way to this 200 SMA, which would be 210. I like this one. I like this one, I have to say. It's really interesting. All right, Oracle. Let's take on Oracle here. All right, so what do we have in Oracle? We had earnings, right? Let's take the extended hours out. So we had earnings, and we're still holding. I like this stock, but it's, kind of like choppy. So it's more of a price action type of get in and manage it as you go. The risk would be 123. I like the fact that it's stabilizing above the 10 EMA. I think it has a strong potential and definitely it's a strong quarter, right? So this is something that is going to go up in the second quarter. The weekly chart has a sell signal, but I don't think the sell is going to be that strong because it's stuck into these two highs, these two resistance points, this double top formation. So you can see here is getting a sell signal, and trading below this topping tail candle low, and it's trading red into these. So I don't think that's going to go that much lower. And based on the daily, this is the lowest point that I can see here. But here's the thing, it doesn't have a clear entry signal. I like the 3 bar here. So let's say if today it's going to get over 128, that's a buy signal. But tomorrow, watch it because tomorrow may be a buy over today's high, but I wouldn't initiate any swing trades into the last days of the quarter, but that's just me. Or the month because it's coinciding. So there's going to be a lot of balancing and a lot of chop and lower than expected lower than average volume. IWM has a huge story to it. First of all, let's take a look. Let's go quarterly, right? So on the quarterly, super strong. This is actually a first quarter that is able to take out all of the chop. And basically this is like a multi-year chop. It goes back from 2022. So what you're seeing here is that for the first time in a really long time, this has been a strong quarter for RTY for Russell. Okay, very strong quarter for Russell. And this is from the quarterly structure. So this can signal a potential strong buy over $210.45. Strong buy, very strong buy. On the other hand, the weekly has been trading into this amazing support, right? That it's actually minor support from 2018. So the reason why the pattern didn't fall apart was because of the prior high from 2018, and it has created this base from May 2022 until the breakout happened in November 2023 of last year, when everything is like I told you last year, we had the end of October that actually rotated everything. I think it was October between 23 and 26 when we had the most massive triggers in the market. And a lot of trades that are still running. And, I have some other, active investing trades that are still running. They're running off of those lows. So that was a big pressure point into the market. Watch for these pullbacks because they're not happening very often. But when you're having a steeper pullback, you should be outside celebrating because it's really a good buying opportunity. All right. So and to be very honest, this is kind of fairly neutral close that Russell is going to have. It's closing back into this resistance. And also another thing that we have here is we have minor resistance, right? So all these lows are creating minor resistance. So we need to tackle these lows right here, right now. And this is task number 2 for Russell as we're going into the second quarter. Task number 1 for the first quarter is to actually get it in there because we were not in this area. This is the first time, for example, this quarter and this month where we're exactly touching on those resistance levels. And the next task is going to be into this quarter to see if we're going to escape higher back into these prior highs. From the weekly structure, we do have the price action, beautiful rising. We left the MAs behind. And in fact, you could actually see here as well, look at these from the 2021. This is the 2021 through 2022 support zone, right? So you can see it right here. This is a really nice base here, very solid base. Long term, it looks bullish. So watch Russell after election. That's when it's going to make a big splash. Okay. Just remember this, write it down. Write it down. Put it in your agenda. All right, INTC. All right, INTC, let's take a look at Intel. All right, so Intel, you can see here that it basically is shifting between support and resistance, and it's really not doing anything. It could actually start moving if it takes out, well, definitely needs to take out these highs here, and I would say $45. And if it takes out the $45, then it could go back up back into the 50. But at this point, it's a little bit of a breakdown here, but the price is moving back up. So it's just that slingshot effect. Is just like slapping around. Okay, so yeah, nothing significant. It's still just, and by the way, it did violate support. It's just testing support right now. So it's just testing support. So it hasn't done anything. And this is on the weekly structure. The daily structure, long sideways trend. This, you have two options here. Either you trade it via price action or you trade it via patterns. And to me, this is more of price action trading until you get into the breakout, where you would get into a systematic pattern, systematic pattern. But I don't like it right now. It has been basing way too long. It's not a trade that I would actually get in right now. You want to take a look at Apple? No, I didn't trade Apple. If anything, no, I didn't trade Apple. There's nothing to trade in Apple, Stuart. I don't know what you're seeing in Apple, but I'm not seeing anything in Apple. It has a low, it has, kind of like a choppy support zone here. And if anything, if it tackles, these lows into the 168, it could actually fall apart. I'm actually waiting for earnings from Apple, because that is when the next considerable move is going to happen. Until then, I think it's going to remain into this kind of like garbagey pattern. It's not going to do anything. It's trading under the EMAs. It's under the impact of the death cross. So institutions are neutral on it. I'm neutral on it. And nothing is going to happen in this one until earnings. And it's not that far. In 2 weeks or 3 weeks, Apple is going to have earnings, and it's not going to do anything. I mean, let's face it, it hasn't done anything since the gap down on March 1st for a whole month. And what's another 2 to 3 weeks? Okay. Mara, I think we still have time for 2 more. All right, so Mara, let's take these out. These are old. All right, Mara, again, under selling pressure of $23 on the daily. It definitely is above the 200 SMA. I don't think it's going to do anything until it trades over $23.50. And SQ. All right, and SQ right here, this is the last stock that we're going to be analyzing. SQ is higher. SQ is higher. I am an SQ from $81.95. Okay, so I'm up a little bit. I'm not huge up. I'm looking for the first target into $100. So definitely this is going to be like a little bit medium term swing trade. So I'm up in the trade. As you can see, my entry is $81.95. As the break of the support area. And the reason why we got in there is because we have this rotation here. So we have the pull back into the 20 SMA rotation. I like the fact that when we pulled back to the break-even zone almost, and we rotated and we're going back up. So yeah, this one can go up. It had a nice quarter. It is into resistance on the quarterly, and that's the reason why it's not moving right away, but we're waiting for the next quarter to start, and things may get a little bit more they may be creating more follow through for the next quarter. Also, the structure onto the weekly is very favorable for the upside. Beautiful breakout here as well. We have been playing Square PayPal, in swings, short-term swings, from anywhere from about 5 days to 2 weeks. This is again a beautiful launch bar with big volume, but as you can see here, the volume is going down right now. That's because of the long holiday weekend. Like, no, who's trading right now? All right, so I just have 2 minutes left, and I just want to invite you guys here to an event that I am hosting. And I'm going to be hosting it next week. So no, not next week, but when is it? Okay, let me just pull up the invite. All right, copy. This is the event, and let me share. Okay.
Battery 50%.
Okay, and here it is. Okay, hope you guys can see it. All right. Wow, this is strange. I don't know why it's lagging here. Okay. All right, here it is. All right, so I'm inviting you guys to a free event. This is something that is going to be offered for the last time for free. It's going to go to $250 into when we're going to do it next time. It's called Accelerate Your Income Challenge. And the challenge is, will you accept this mission to start increasing your income or supplementing your income? The link is right here. Let me just type it in. Oh, I already did. All right, here's the link. And the event, as you can see here, it starts April 1st. It's going to be like very intense teaching on the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th. You're going to be trading live with me. Okay, so you're going to be trading live with me. So if you want to participate in our free event, you have the link right here. I just posted for everybody in the room. It's a short link, bit.ly and /3va something something. Just click on that link. So thanks so much, everybody. Hope you guys are going to have a great rest of the day.